Our headlines for you today. President Trump predicts a future of love, peace and prosperity in the Middle East as he announces a ceasefire between Israel and Iran on social media.
Neither Israel nor Iran has confirmed the plan, which Mr. Trump revealed just hours after Iran fired missiles at a US airbase in Qatar.
And overnight there's been a further exchange of fire in both directions, and Israel has come under repeated attack this morning. 6 waves of missiles fired by Iran onto different targets across this country. Some of those missiles have got through and at least 4 people have been killed. So if there is to be a ceasefire, it is coming at some cost.
Sir Keir Starmer heads to the NATO summit with a promise to increase spending on UK defence to 5% of GDP, but not till 2035.
But there is pressure on the government as more than 100 Labour MPs mount a major bid to block planned changes to the benefits system.
Good morning in sport. England know exactly what they have to do. Score another 350 runs at Headingley while avoiding the rain, and they'll win the opening test against India.
And the winning design for the official memorial to Queen Elizabeth is revealed, featuring statues of the late monarch on horseback and with Prince Philip.
Let's have a look at what's on the front of today's newspapers. The Daily Mirror calling the activity in the Middle East war games, adding that dozens of Britons were airlifted out of Israel.
The Daily Express headlines on Trump's call for peace after what he said was a very weak attack from Iran.
The Telegraph's front page, it's got a story about Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, who's made a pledge to spend £40 billion on defence. The Shadow Defence Secretary, that's James Cartledge, has called it smoke and mirrors.
And The Times claims that millionaires are fleeing the UK in record numbers, with the paper saying tax increases and falling economic confidence are to blame. Home testing kits for cervical cancer are going to be sent to millions of women in England who haven't attended regular screening. The DIY test will check for HPV, which causes nearly all cervical cancers. It's part of a new government strategy to increase the focus on preventing illness. Amazon has said thousands of jobs will be created at new warehouses in locations including Hull and Northampton as a new investment is put into place over the next 3 years. The Prime Minister has said the expansion was a major win for the UK. The company confirmed that around 4,000 jobs would be created at the warehouses due to open next year. There'll be 2 new locations in the East Midlands due to open in 2027. Singer Jessie J says she's undergone surgery for breast cancer and is now resting at home while awaiting her results. In a social media post, the 37-year-old star thanked her doctor, surgeon and all the nurses, sharing a series of photos and videos of her time in hospital. She revealed her early breast cancer diagnosis at the beginning of this month and received widespread support for sharing her experience.
Also tonight, the Prime Minister says he will press ahead with the government's planned welfare changes despite a growing rebellion from his own MPs. The vets and pet owners who've contacted Your Voice, Your BBC News to raise concerns about the impact of rising vet bills on animals. And a honey trap caught on CCTV, the 2 bears who escaped and devoured a week's worth of honey at a wildlife park in Devon.
Still to come, after touring together for nearly 70 years, the Searchers will give their final live performance at Glastonbury later this month. The cost of the average food shop is rising at a faster rate than other items. That's according to spending analyst Kantar. Grocery prices rose an average of 4.7% in the 4 weeks to the middle of June. Our business correspondent Ben Boulos has more.
Now, the current overall rate of inflation for all goods and services is 3.4%, and that's well above the Bank of England's target of 2%. But food prices in particular are rising even faster. In May, they were up 4.4% compared with a year ago. And the rises have been speeding up for 3 months in a row. In fact, that industry survey out today suggests they sped up even more in the first half of this month. Some examples. Cereal is up 4.8%. Full-fat milk up almost 6%. Coffee has risen nearly 14%. And butter up more than 18%. The cost of meat has soared as well. Beef, in particular, up 17% in the year to May. Also, lamb and, to a lesser extent, chicken, as well as fish. Bad weather and poor harvests in the world's biggest cocoa-producing regions have pushed chocolate prices up more than 17% compared with a year ago. And ice cream also up more than 7.5%. And here are the reasons why food prices are rising so sharply. Higher energy costs for producers, higher staff costs for supermarkets, given the rise in employers' national insurance and minimum wage, and those poor harvests, as I mentioned, with cocoa. The food analysis firm Kantar says we are now in new territory with these price rises, but that there are ways you can cut costs.
We're out in South London with police on an operation to tackle shoplifting. The Met boss promises to rebuild trust with Londoners with better neighbourhood policing.
We're focusing most of all on things that matter most to Londoners. That's why we put more resources into neighbourhood policing, and they're making a big difference.
We ask, is it realistic when we know there's no extra funding for the Met? Also tonight. Stolen from a North London pub and worth more than £150,000, the owner of a rare violin appeals for its safe return. Plus, the pop-up for pups that has a novel way to help spot health issues earlier. We'll explain. And
the Grant Museum of Zoology is stuffed full of creatures and curiosities, but a new exhibition focuses on just one, the much maligned wasp, and they're hoping we can learn to love them.
London's mayor says the government's proposed changes to benefits would destroy the financial safety net of many disabled and disadvantaged Londoners. A number of the capital's Labour MPs have signed a rebel amendment aiming to block the changes when they come to the Commons. The Prime Minister says the welfare system is unsustainable and needs reform. A van caught fire near St Pancras train station this morning, forcing roads to close. London Fire Brigade sent 2 fire engines to deal with the blaze. No one was injured. It's being treated as accidental, the brigade said. And a businessman from North London has been fined more than £50,000 after his employees were caught on camera fly tipping leftover meat and fish onto a street and a flat roof. Brent Council called it a deliberate and coordinated operation.
Byfleet will see £1 billion investment to upgrade an ailing national biosecurity centre, the government has announced. They say the funding for the centre will help prevent future pandemics, protect farms and boost the local economy. The Environment Secretary Steve Reed says the facilities will keep the country safe.
Well, we're going to have a world-class scientific laboratory and research facility here in Weybridge. It's going to mean good new jobs for local people in the area, but it's also a world-class facility that very, very few countries in the world will be able to boast of having, and that's got to be good for the local area.
Now, once voted the best British sitcom of all time, Fawlty Towers is celebrating its 50th anniversary. To mark this special milestone, the play is returning to the Apollo in London's West End, with a refreshed cast including Londoners Helen Lederer and Paul Nicholas.
I play Mrs. Richards, who is the, would you call her a battle axe?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. So we are agreed she's a battle axe. So being a people pleaser by nature, my own personality, I am very cross with everyone, aren't I?
Very cross most of the time.
All the time. So unredeemingly crossness. And it's really liberating to be that, you know, bad-tempered.
Now, as you may have heard, the winning design for a national memorial to the late Queen Elizabeth II in St James's Park has been announced. It includes this, a statue of her, as her love of horses was well known. Our reporter Frankie McCamley is there and can walk us through the plans. Hi, Frankie.
Hello, good evening, Riz, and welcome to what is still a very busy St James's Park. Lots of people trying to enjoy those last little bits of sunshine, having the odd picnic. Let me show you where we are. We're just next to Marlborough Gate, which backs onto the Mall, and this is where the first statue of the late Queen is going to be, and she'll be on horseback. And just around that area is going to be known as Queen Elizabeth II Place. And let me just show you now, this is what designers hope that this will look like, and the final look will actually depend on when the sculptors are appointed. That hasn't happened yet. Beyond that, there are going to be some new landscaped gardens to commemorate the Commonwealth and communities around the UK, and they'll be known as the Unity Gardens. Beyond that, at the moment, there's a small metal bridge crossing the lake here. Well, that is going to be widened, and it is going to represent the then Princess Elizabeth's crown that she wore on her wedding day. The designers have described it as jewel-like. Then at the other side of the park, there will be a statue of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. That will be known as Prince Philip Gate, and it is there to honour their partnership. Well, as I said, there are still lots of people throughout the day have been walking through the park, many talking about these new memorials coming very soon. Well, I've been asking them what they think of the plans.
We love the Queen. We absolutely love the Queen. So anything that honors her, we think is just wonderful.
I got to meet her when I was younger, and she was just so sweet and so amazing. So yeah, it's really nice that they're honouring her with this.
I mean, I loved the Queen, but I think the royal family is sort of done now. The Queen was sort of the end. I think the country is turning more away from the royal family.
Yeah, I mean, the longest in history, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, great servant to this country. It almost feel a bit wrong to not have something to commemorate her, and obviously, you know, stone's throw away from the palace as well. The bigger the better, really.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
Well,
yep, fantastic.
Amazing.
Just so many tourists obviously flock here for Buckingham Palace, so it's a perfect place to put it.
I think it would be a nice upgrade. Yeah. The bridge sounds beautiful. Yeah.
Well, as I said, the final plans are going to be submitted next year. But what the designers hope is these memorials will evoke a sense of service that Her Majesty the Queen had for so long, and offer people a chance to remember and reflect her extraordinary life, Riz.